G'day, that's Slot Car Guy here. So today's going to be a quick review of a car I received the other day, and it's going to be a comparison of a newer version of this model. So stick around, let's see old versus new. Alrighty, so super duper excited to reveal this car. It's in very, very good condition. It is vintage, but I thought instead of just revealing it, let's compare it to a similar model of almost today's standards compared to what slot cars were back in the day. So let's reveal the vintage slot car. And again, so lucky to find it. So let's take away the packaging. So there we have Scalextric Rally. Love the box art. Super retro, super vintage, and such good condition. And this is badged as the BMW Turbo 320. Now, take note of the livery and obviously the body shape. And what am I going to compare this to? Again, not the same car, very similar, but my last video I received 3 Fly slot cars, and here it is, very similar livery, but Fly's 3.5 CSL 1976. So let's take a closer look at both of them, see the complete differences of how they were made. Of course, this one's going to be a lot better detail, but let's check out how different today's slot cars are. Alright, so let's take a close look at both of these models, but let's start vintage first. Let's go old school. Now, the vintage model is by Scalextric, and it's the BMW as stated in the intro, but let's have a quick squeeze at the box itself. So, there's your branding or your make model of the box and the Scalextric. Nice clear screen, which is still in really good condition. Scalextric Rally, I don't know why they call it the Rally series, but if you know, let me know. Other side, and then we'll go to the rear. And there's the rear opening. So these are pretty cool. You used to open them like a little slip box. I like that. So let's get him out. And when we get him out, I'll explain to you why I like these packages and sort of why I don't. So the reason I don't like these packages, I'm glad we've stopped. That black plastic here, once it gets hot, it gets crispy and it starts frailing. This is actually quite nice. And also you have to rip these out to get the instructions out. So look at the instructions, which again, super cool that that's in there. But there's your instructions for this model. So like I said, this is a eBay purchase. It's a local seller, so he's very close to my house, which is good. So it's good to see that all the parts and pieces are in there. Now, let's have a look at this little weapon. Again, old school styling, old plastic. I think these might be stick-ons, I'm not too sure. They could be printed. I don't know how they did these ones. Sometimes they're water slide decals, print-on stickers. I think they're going to be stickers, but the Goodyear one looks like stickers. But this is an overall look of the car. I love how the rear are big fatties, the front's a little bit smaller. Might be able to pick that up from underneath if we do an underneath shot. There you go. So big fatties on the rear, little skinnies on the front. But we'll go for a bit of a tour around the car. Now some of these parts should have air holes in them from the real body kit, but they don't, so there's plastic inserts, which that's still cool. It'll be a functioning rear spoiler because there is a gap in between. But as I stated before, it should have had some air holes down the side here, but that's just solid plastic. But you know what? Old school cool. Underneath, the old plastic base. So we've got the guide up the front, which is today's standard. Inline motor, and they're on a bit of an angle in the old school cars. They're on a bit of a rake. I'll see if I can pick that up. It's a bit hard. You can see it's synced in a bit on the motor itself, so they're on a bit of a rake. Rear wheel drive, as you can see the rear axle and the gearing. And I think there's magnets, but I'm not too sure. I haven't opened that up. So that is the old school BMW by Scalextric, which I'm so happy to find it. Let's now check out the newer version. So we'll move them across. And let's check out Fly Slots BMW. Now, again, this isn't the newest model, but it is, in comparison, a much better model. So we can see the evolution of slot car design / execution of how these models are done. Now, Fly Slot, you know, nothing. The bases, if you know Fly Slot, you know they're pretty standard bases. Plastic cover with an insert sleeve with the details of the car and the details of the company. So, very simplistic, but it works. Now this is the difference. The detailing of this thing, and again, it's not the newest model, is incredible. So I was saying about the air holes at the back, they're actually cut out at the rear, which is really, really cool. You've even got the, I believe, their fuel tank fillers on it. They're actually sunken in as an actual hole cut out for them, which, again, attention to detail these days are almost a standard. Mirrors, so the old school one didn't have any mirrors. It's got some mirrors planted on it. Same size rims and tyres on this one, so it's symmetrical. But the width of that body is outstanding. But again, there's some cutouts at the front here, and they're genuine cutouts. Whether they work or not or do anything to the car, I don't know. And then on top of the roof, and I'll see if we can get a good shot of that. On top of the roof, you've got a roof spoiler. I'm trying to get that into the, well, that roof spoiler right here actually has a gap down in oh, there you go, you can see my finger behind it. So that's an active roof spoiler. Very cool. Now this is where it gets a bit cool. Very, very different. Now this is different on all slot car standards. So a little bit of detailing work underneath, a bit of air ducts for the brakes, I believe that'll be for catching the air from underneath the car. Some side exhausts popping out, a little bit of paint work. That is actually quite detailed for a car of that time and really, really cool. The major difference is that's not the back of the car. That motor is in line at the front. So I'll say that again, that motor is in the front of the car just behind the guide. So that's very unique in any slot car. Rear wheel drive. So rear wheel drive, much like the old school version, but the motor's in the front. So and the cool thing I like about this is you can actually actively see the drive shaft in here and it's moving. That's cool. So a little bit of a special, this one. It's not your normal kind of slot car, but in comparison, when we go side by side, the difference is evident. Again, not the exact same car, but very, very similar. Colours are more vibrant on the new stuff, you know, less decal. It's almost the same kind of body on it, same kind of livery, but beautiful. So just a quick look at where we've come from. So I believe this is from the 80s, I'm guessing that, and this would be the late 2000s, maybe 2012. I'm not 100% sure when this was made. Let's have a quick squeeze. Again, there's no dates on any of these two cars, but really cool. Love where slot cars are going. Bit of a flashback here, but love it. Evolution of slot cars, here they are. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I will put these around the track very soon. We'll maybe do a hot lap with this and see the difference between the both. But it's a quick evolution video of slot cars and what is out there for us to find. So cheers, thanks for watching. Again, at That Slot Car Guy on Instagram. Take care, be safe, keep racing.